Good evening, everyone. I am Vishnu Jagtap, and in front of all of you, I am presenting the Wall Street Journal newspaper headline. So, first of all, Jen Sky visit the front line has trip to Washington is set. Next, Putin admits situation in Ukraine extremely difficult. Next, panel releases data in Trump tax. Next, bond yield rise on BOJ move. Next, unwanted treats are back at work. Next, drug discounts aimed at needy boost hospitals. Next, Wells Fargo to pay record fine in $3.7 billion settlement deal. Next, changes move ahead for retirement plans. Then next on page number 2 in that White House aim to boost workforce. Next, Wells Fargo to pay record fine. Next, switch to electric mail fleet to begin. Next, city will offer free public bus service. Next, biotech executive accused of fraud. Next, officer gets nearly 12 years in shooting. Next, on page number 3 in that California quake kills 2 causes widespread damage. Next, DOJ defends bid to end border policy. Next, USC faces lawsuit over schools ranking. Then on page number 4 in that deal is set on $1.65 trillion funding bill. Next, retirement legislation advances. Next, TikTok ban on federal devices is included. Then next, Boeing gets waiver on three Boeing on sorry, I am repeating again. Boeing get waiver on 737 max cutoff. Next on page number 6 in that Trump tax data released. Next, land conversation deals face curve. Next, on page number 7 in that Zelensky visits troops on front line. Next, Ukrainian leader to address Congress mid Biden. Next, Putin says situation difficult. Then on page number 8 in that Japan follows lead of bankers globally in pushing up rates. Next, lifting of zero COVID policies put onus on China factories. Next, Tokyo's weapon build up to bolster China deterrence. Next, Kim's sister slams skeptics of nations might. Next on page number 9 in that World Cup celebration turns chaotic. Next, ex-Nazi secretary convicted in Berlin. Next, Taliban ban women from universities. Next, marchers protest death in prison. Next, condo attack came amid aviation move. Next, Mexico gives asylum to ex-president Kane. Next, on page number 10 in that unwanted treats return. Next, discounts boost hospitals. Next, on page number 11 in that the 5 emails for you need to send out now. Next, she soaked up hair Honda for racing. Next, lower bow sales signals slip for gifts in driveway. Next on page number 12 in that how to figure if it's flu, RSV, COVID or strep. Next, a pretty penny for radical tickets. Then next on page number 13 in that seeing across history at the Royal Museum of Fine Arts. Next, Emily Emily's culture continuation. Next, on page number 14 in that the Masters will allow LIV golfers. Next, rule change shifts market for lefty pull hitters. Next, on page number 15 in that China's useful COVID lesson. Next, title 42 and Biden moment of truth. Next, sailors battle Borden at midway. Next, flawed history. Next on page number 16 in that the ugliest omnibus bill ever. Next, electoral count act reform at last. Next, the US Department of Mascara. Next, letters to the editor. Next, Democrats know everything worth knowing. Next, a criminal justice fantasy meets the reality. Next, race is on for utilities and their attackers. Next, the media's new definition of a good inflation number. Next, Burj Dal trade was worse. Next, cannot count Trump out yet. Then on page number 17 in that is China running out of money. Next, state-based visas could ease the border crisis. Next, how much Washington reality really owes $100 trillion. Next, Chicago news is nothing but crime. Then on page number 19 in that Musk says he will cd CEO job. Next, YouTube NFL in talks for Sunday ticket. Next, Palantir misfires on revenue tied SPAC portfolio. Next, Zuckerberg defends deal for startups. Next, 3 million to stop making forever chemicals. Next, mortgage tycoon to buy NBA Suns. Next, YouTube NFL in talks for Sunday ticket. Next, Netflix ad supported tire proves least popular. Then on page number 20 in that theme park operator Six Flag is targeted of activist shareholder. Next, Netflix ad tires slow to gain users. Next, Musk says he will CEO job. Next, Zuckerberg defends VR deal. On page number 21 in that gymnast breaks with Sidral. Next, FedEx profit falls or has shipments drop again. Hertz is proved on renting unrepaired vehicles. Next, on page number 22 in that Amazon settles two EU cases. Next, 3 million to stop forever chemicals. Then on page number 23 in that Delta to roll out free onboard Wi-Fi. Next, General Mills lifts outlook has sales gain. Next, Nike rises forecast cities improvement in stockpile. Next, World Cup rating soar. Then on page number 24 in that once close New York, Florida developers eyesight. Next, uh, Barnes and Noble store expansion leads revival in big box space. Next, dollar retailers are adding new locations. Next, on page number 29 in that investors big company CEOs diverge on economic projections. Next, on page number 30 in that FTX aims to clave back donations. Next, YouTube NFL in talks. Next, Tycoon to buy NBA team. Next, Spake bets misfire at Palantir. Next, on page number 31 in that indexes break 4 sessions losing streak. Next, stock picking makes comeback in market turmoil. Next, Bank of Japan blinked in its standoff with global markets. Then on page number 32 in that in finance as in our universe big bans happen only once. Next, Japan's central bank steals Christmas. Next, pet food mishap bets General Mills. Next, Netflix ad supported tire to take time to catch on. That much for today. Thanks for watching.